Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome back to the Global 787 Tour, or is it 787 Global Tour? I keep forgetting. Doesn't matter. We are in LPPR, which I forgot the name of this airport. I couldn't say it anyway, so what difference does it make, right? But we're in Portugal, and today we will be making the 1,000-mile trip over to Pula, which is on the Adriatic Sea. Specifically to LDPL, and I can't say the name of this airport either. It's Francisco Sacarnia Pula. We're gonna stick with Pula. So, yeah, we got a lot to do, and I say we jump right into it. We're just about done loading up the cargo here. So, what do you say we climb on the flight deck and get to work? And welcome once again to the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to dive right in with our flight deck safety inspection. Our battery switch needs to be on, which it is. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have any power on the aircraft anyway. Hydraulic panel needs to be set, so the C1 and C2 electric pumps need to be off, and the demand electric pumps need to be off as well. Wiper selectors are off. Nav light switch is on, which is this guy down here. Landing gear lever is down. And the ICUS gear indication shows down as well. Down and down. I was looking at flaps, not landing gear. Alternate flap arm switch and flap selector are both off, these two down here. And the parking brake is set. And that takes care of the flight deck safety inspection. And we can dive right in to setting up our CDU. But before we do that, I want to take a look at the plan of the day. Using our Sim Toolkit Pro once again. If you guys haven't grabbed this program, you are missing out. It is free. It is fantastic. It integrates Navigraph. It integrates Active Sky. It's all right in there. And you can link it to your SimBrief account as well, so you can load your flight plans straight in here. All kinds of good stuff. I will do a tutorial on this. Gonna at least wait until version 0.6 comes out. Depending on what the developer says, we may wait until I guess we'll call it the final release version, or the 1.0 comes out. We'll see what the developer has to say. That'll be up to him. But anyway, diving right in. So flight plan for the day, LPPR over to LDPL. We're looking at block fuel of 48,423 pounds. We should have that set up already. I'll show that to you here in a little bit. There's the route. We'll be plugging that in as well. And I did save the route. I exported the route to the Quality Wings folder, so we should be able to load it straight away. Excuse me, hold on. I gotta take a drink. Oh, that would have been a nasty cough right there. Okay, we're supposed to have 350 packs on board. Not sure how that's supposed to work out, since this thing only holds like 285. But it is what it is. Cargo 3.5 on there, so 3,500 pounds. Total payload of 84,000 pounds. Zero fuel weight 371. Fuel is 48.4. Takeoff weight of 419,200 pounds. So pretty heavy. Not too bad though. And then you got all kinds of information down here that we don't need to worry about right now. So that's the basic plan of the day. Now what do you say we dive in, start setting up our CDU. First things first, we want to make sure we got the right model, 787-900 with the Gen X 1B70 engines. Nav data is AirX Cycle 2006, and it expires the day after tomorrow. So we're looking good on that. So let's go to position initialization, and remember that you don't have to set the inertial position in here because the aircraft is using the position from the sim. So we're just going to put in our reference airport of LPPL, or LPPR, right? Hold on, I got to look. Yep, LPPR. That's the thing, you fly to a bunch of these airfields. That's what's cool about these tours, though. You fly to a bunch of places you've never been to before, right? So that makes it a lot of fun, even though the default airports really do suck. You know, I have quite a few add-on airports now, and so I'm more and more disappointed with the default airports. But anyway, you get to visit a lot of places that you haven't visited before, and that's one of the cool things over at Mac Air when we put together these tours. Is you get to go to places that you probably would never go to otherwise, so that just makes it cool. Anyway, moving on over to the route page. So we are going to request the route, and there it is, LPPR to LDPL. Click on that. Let her load in. We're going to be United Airlines Flight 107. There's the L. 107. Put that in there, and I'm going to check the weather again because I don't know. I don't think I agree with what it's saying here. It's saying that the wind is 310 at 3 knots, but it wants us to take runway 17. Why wouldn't I take runway 35? Wouldn't that make more sense? So I guess we'll have to take a look and see what the other traffic is doing. We'll go ahead and activate this without putting a runway in there for now. All right, moving on to the performance initialization page now.
Pre-flight checklist.
Okay, that didn't make sense. Why would we? Oh, I guess because they finished loading. He just said pre-flight checklist. Now I want to jump back over to our flight plan real quick, and I want to show you something a little strange here because I'm looking at our cruise altitude. So check this out. Step climbs, right? So out of LPPR, we're looking at 340. And then at ZMR, it shows us at 140, at DGO 340, at GOSV 360, GAI 190, then 350, then 360 again, then 300. What the heck is that? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I will say this. Sometimes when you cross into certain airspace, they like to do things differently. And I think Russia's an example where they fly the opposite altitudes of what we do everywhere else. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen this before. So when I'm heading one direction where I'm flying at an even altitude, and then I get over Russian airspace and it wants me to change to an odd altitude while I'm heading in that direction, and then I get out of Russian airspace and wants me to change back. I could be wrong about that, but I think they do things a little different over there. But that still doesn't account for why does it have me at 14,000 feet at ZMR? Okay, unless that's on my climb out. Okay, I could see that. Then we go to 340 and then a step to 360. Why am I coming back down to 19,000 feet? I could even see the drop to 35 to 350. Okay, if that has to do with the airspace. But this thing just looks really weird to me. So we're going to set our initial altitude 340. I know that was probably more information than you needed, right? Flight level 340, throw it in there. Cost index is going to be 85. Throw that in there as well. And final reserve fuel is supposed to be 45.90. We'll call it an even 5,000. And that looks good. Execute that. Go to the thrust limit page. And well, let's see here. We're not super heavy. Yeah, let's just leave it normal takeoff and we'll go climb one. Alright. Takeoff page. Center of gravity 23. 135, 138, 148. You don't have to click on them. I just like to. Now, real quick, I want to hop over here. I want to go to our dispatch because now we've got this load agent thing, and I still haven't figured out how to get this thing to work properly. I did the fuel in here, all right, and yeah, I set fuel tanks, I set payload, I did all that in here. Although it changed on me apparently. That's supposed to be 1,000. Unless it won't take 1,000. That's 1,500. And set payload. And this thing won't go away. As soon as I clicked on one of those and pulled it up, it won't go away. Alright, so I don't know. I briefly, I have to be honest, I skimmed over this section a little bit. Because I thought, well, I just won't mess with that too much, so I'm not too worried about it. But maybe I should have been worried about it. So the only thing I can change on here is the reserve fuel. Everything else I can't even touch it anyway. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So hopefully our fuel's loaded properly. Let's see, we should have 48,424 pounds of fuel, which is just 1 pound more than our flight plan calls for. So let's see, what do we got here? 48.4. So our fuel is correct. So it obviously did that, so we're good to go. Alright, so that takes care of our CDU setup and mess with the EFB. By the way, I mentioned in the last video, I think it wasn't sure about some stuff about that EFB. I looked into it a little bit more. I didn't look real deep, but I did look a little more. All those things that are blued out, they're not, you can't do anything with them. They're not available options. So it's not really a complete EFB. Not saying that to dog on Quality Wings at all, because they did a heck of a job with this aircraft. I do think that they could have gone a little further with that EFB though. That's just me. Alright then, let's dive into the good stuff here. We're going to jump up to the overhead panel and we're going to start going through things. So on flight control surfaces, both of those should be guarded, blank, and no light there. This guy should be on normal. Both of these should be in the on position. That's your IRS, and no light there either. Primary flight computers is going to be auto with the guard closed, no light there. IFE passenger and cabin utility both on, battery on, APU is off right now. Both the APU gens can remain on and the external power is obviously on. We don't need the aft external power. All four of these switches should be on and the off lights should be showing, and all four of the drive lights should be showing as well. Wiper lights should be in the off position. Jumping back up here, I've tried this test guide before. All it does is show me the high. I'm not sure what that's all about. I didn't see it in the manual, so it is what it is. We don't need towing power, but the flight deck door does need its power, and that light should go off. All of these three should be blank and guards closed. Don't click on the passenger oxygen. It's a bad idea. Leave the service interphone off. Emergency lights armed and guarded. Window heat all needs to go on. Ram air turbine needs to be guard closed and blank. Don't click that one either. It'll make for a bad day. Both of these on with the fault lights showing. C1, C2 off. And left and right demands also need to be off, and all the fault lights should be on. Passenger signs can go to auto. We'll chime them. Lights are as we want them to be at the moment. I turned the dome lights on just because it's a little dark in here, so I turned them on to make it easier for you guys. Jumping back up top, ground test should be on normal. Cockpit voice recorder, we're not going to mess with it. All of these lights should be off. This guard should be closed, and when you test it, see, remember last time the light didn't come on the APU. I don't know why. Right, so conduct your test. You got to hold it until it's done. There we go. And then that light off up there. EEC modes both should be normal. Start switches should be normal as well. Fuel jettison, all of these should be blank. Guards closed. You can give that a left click to make sure it's pushed in. Fuel pumps are all off at the moment. There is no fuel in the center tank, so when we turn them on, it'll just be these four. Let's see, anti-ice all in the auto position. Nav lights on, the other lights are all off. We can test our lights while we're here. Take a look down here. All those lights are coming on like they should. And when you drag it down like I just did, you got to go back up here and you got to give it another click to turn them all off. Jumping back up here, the ELT is armed and the guard is closed. The humidification switch needs to be on. It's your pick on this, low or high. 10 o'clock position here. That should be on auto and that light should be off. Air conditioning, these are all auto. Recirc fans are on. These are supposed to be in the 10 o'clock position. You can reset the air conditioning if you want. Left and right packs both on auto. Trim air in the on position. Ventilation fan normal with the guard closed. Pressurization is auto all the way around. Don't mess with any of it. There's no need to. And your right wiper is off. Now, just so you know, everything we just did on that overhead is like 4.5 pages in the tutorial portion of the manual. So that's a lot there. But once you memorize what's supposed to be what, you can see that goes pretty quick. Okay, moving on to our IFAS control panel. Minimums reference selector needs to be either baro or radio. We'll leave it on radio for now. The flight path vector switch we'll leave as is. That's fine. We'll leave the meter switch alone as well. We do need to, we're going to stay on, so you can do inches or hectopascals, HPA. And we are looking at, where is it at? I don't know why, but my flight plans are giving me everything in frickin' hectopascals right now. So we're going to go, it's 1023, so we'll put that on there real quick, and they're all synced up. You can see the one in the middle moving as well, the standby. What else we got here? Nav data mode selector is on map. We're good there. Menu, so you can go to the menu, select what you want on here. I like to have the vertical situation display. I like to have that up. However, while we're taxiing, it's easier to have it down. Put that on airport traffic. We can turn that on even though TCAS is off right now, and then we don't really need anything else on there. What we can do is we can zoom that range down, and sometimes it'll show us the airport and sometimes it won't, and this is one of those times when it won't. So it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, moving on. What else we got to do here? ICAS transfer switch, we're good. Weather switch is off right now. Terrain switches are as needed. And then we got the mode control panel. So I can't talk right now. Flight director switches need to go on. Let me check something on my Navigraph here as far as altitude restrictions. At or above 10,000. Everything's at or above. Transition altitude's 4,000 feet. Right now, while I'm thinking about it, I want to put that in. Go to your VNav. Transition altitude is 4,000 feet here. So let's put that in there. Bam, sis. Back to initial reference, thrust limit, takeoff page. That's where we want to be. And back up here. Okay, both the flight directors are on. So we said we're going up to 340. So let's just crank this on up to 340. Because we don't have any maximum altitudes. So there we go, 340. Put it back over on the auto. And for our V speeds, 148 plus 5 is what? It is 153. Don't worry, I had to think about it for a second too. Come on down. Little more, little more. No, that's too much. Don't you hate when it does that? There we go, 153. We can arm the auto throttles. LNAV and VNav can both be armed at this point as well. And what else we got on here? Heading track. So for our departure, I'm assuming we're going to be taking runway 35, so I'm going to put us at 352 for now. But if all the AI traffic is going runway 17, then we'll take runway 17. Alright, so 352 for now should work out just fine though. I think that's what it's going to end up being. We do need to check the oxygen real quick. That's going to be down over here. Come on. There it is. Oxygen's working. You love that sound, right? What else? Forward panel brightness. I did finally figure out how to dim those a little bit. I was just being an idiot. Couldn't get it to work right. Flight instruments are set. TCAS is off. V speeds are set. We're good on those. Auto throttle mode is blank. It says roll mode is toga or HUD is toga. So roll mode is toga there, and you can also bring the HUD down. I wanted to use the HUD last time, but it was so bright. When I first turned it on, it was ridiculous. But you can see roll mode, that's LNAV, is toga, and VNav should be the same as well. And then flight director obviously should be showing that it's on, which it is. You can see it nice and big right there. And what else? Landing gear panel. Landing gear lever is down, and the alternate gear switch is guard closed, and the alternate gear switch is hidden over there. So, or is that that's the alternate flap? Alternate gear is here, guard closed. What am I thinking? Auto brake selector needs to go to RTO, and local altimeter setting has already been set. Speed brake lever is down. Reverse thrust levers are down. Forward thrust levers are closed. Parking brake is set. Stabilizer cutout switches, these two here, guard is closed. Fuel control switches are in the cutoff position. The fuel switch fire warning lights are extinguished. That's these guys, are these two right here. Is what it's these two, not these two. These little lights down here, they're extinguished. Alternate flaps, these ones over here are normal and light is out. Captain's audio control is good for now. And flap lever is set in the 0 position. Flight deck door access selector is set to auto, which that one's hidden down here. This one right here, it's set to auto. You can turn on your floodlights and panel lights down here if you want as well. The evac command needs to be guard closed. OBS audio should be on normal. Transponder mode should be on standby. And we can change our transponder code right here. So you click it and it turns to 0, or you can just put in the numbers and then click it and it'll put those numbers in there. TCAS is on normal for now. I should remember to put that on above before we depart. And you got nav information, you got your whole menu here, all that good stuff, right? Weather radar, you can control that from here. I don't know if you guys knew this, and you can do that from any of these three here. So VHF there. So if we went back, let's say we wanted, so this has doors and cabin interphone here. We could go over here and say we want transponder over here on the captain's side. If you want to ident, you go there. So if you're flying on like VATSIM or something, click. They tell you to ident. Click on that in this aircraft, and it'll ident. Okay, moving on. Ident means identification, by the way. That one's good. Verify the engine 1 and 2 bottle discharge lights are extinguished. That's these two here. All right. Glide slope inhibit switch This guy right here is blank, and transponder mode is on standby. Oral cancel light, that should be guarded in blank. Floor light switch as needed. Evacuation command switch guard closed. We already talked about those down here. And then it says to complete the CDU for the pre-flight, which we've already done. Alright, now what we haven't done yet, and we'll hop down here to do it, is we haven't gone through our checklists on here. So I want to make sure we do that really quick. So pre-flight, we tested the oxygen flight instruments. The heading is set to 352, and the altimeter is set to 1023. So that completes...
From the flight deck, this is your captain.
Yeah. And that takes us right up to our before start checklist. So we're good on checklist right now. We can put that back on systems. And we are going to need to, we do need to check on this page here, the status page. We want to make sure we don't have RO or RF or OF on hydraulic fluid or on the liquid cooling, and that we have enough oxygen for the flight. Now it is lower than it was last time. That's a first. If we go to the maintenance, electric system indicates and control. I've never actually messed with this. Miscellaneous system controls. Maintenance data pages. It's not letting me do anything, so what's the point? If I can't do anything with it, why is it there? Okay, so hydraulics, they're as they should be because we don't have any hydraulics going right now. The doors can all be closed at this point, so that's going to be your little quality wings menu, and if you hit shift 2 it'll pop up, or you can click on where the compass card is, or the compass is at. So alright, we're not going to remove wheel chocks or external power right now because I don't have the APU on. If I do that, I'm just going to kill the battery. But we can close the doors. So let's get those all closed up.
Before start checklist?
I think I'm going to change that setting. I get what they're doing with that. But, like, I don't mind the cabin announcements, but I don't need the pilots to talk. They're not doing any good. They're just telling me to do something I can't do right now. Can't do anything with flight controls yet. Put that back on the status page and start the APU. Right-click it once, right-click it again, and then when you come back down here, if you look at that status page, you'll see the APU is spinning up. So I'm going to let that spin up, and when I come back, we will carry on with the plan of the day. Alright, APU's up and running now. Let's hop up top here. We've already got the APU gens on, so we can turn the external power off. If you're that's not the button I pushed. I pushed that one. Anyway, double check, make sure nothing turned off. That's always a good thing to make sure it's not turning off. I'll hit shift 2. External power can be removed at this point, and parking brake is set, so we can go ahead and remove those wheel chocks as well. And what else? Seatbelt signs are on. Just double. We're gonna hop up here anyway. Seatbelt signs are on auto. On the hydraulic pumps, the right demand selector comes on. Then the left demand selector comes on. Nope, that's not it. There it is. And then the C1 and the C2. That's the order you're supposed to do it in, only because that's the order it says. I don't know if there's any other reason for that. All the fuel pumps can come on. That light went off when we turned on the APU. That's a good thing. And what else? Stab and rudder trim set. So rudder trim is going to stay at 0, but we haven't set our stab trim yet. And with the hydraulics on, we should be able to do that. So if we go to systems, we're already there. Flight controls. And what did we say it was? 4.0. Hey, look at that. It's already 4.0. Fantastic. Double check, make sure all of our doors are closed, locked, and armed. And the lavatory is currently vacant, so that's good. At this point, the beacon light can come on. Jumping up here, beacon light goes on. Transponder, it just says put on transponder, and then perform the before start checklist. So let's go through that really quick. Go to checklist. Passenger signs are set. MCP. I really wish he'd just stop talking. He's given a taxi brief or a takeoff brief now, and that's just pointless. How do I turn that off? Is that down here? Let's go index. What is it under? It's under menu, isn't it? Yeah. It's going to be info, and then miscellaneous. No, sounds, that's just GPWS. Play crew announcements. Now, what is the QWPAS? Quality Wings Passenger, right? And then this is crew. Is that right? I think so. I think I'm going to turn that one off, and I'll bet that does it for us. Okay, back to the CDU on that. Let's get back to work here. Okay. All right, so MCP V2. V2 is 148. We're set at 153 on the MCP. Heading is set to 352, and altitude is 34,000 feet. Takeoff speeds V1 136, VR 138, and V2 148. CDU preflight is complete. Taxi and takeoff briefing has not been completed, so let's do that now. BAMSIS, there we go. All right, I have to double check, but we should be over here. Sometimes it's hard when you're picking parking spaces, right, at the default places, but we should be over here somewhere. Assuming we're still taking runway 35, we will push back. In fact, we should be right here. So we would push back with the tail left and the nose to the right, and taxi down here to hold short at Bravo. If we're going to be taking runway 17, then we'll take the taxiway Foxtrot up, and then we'll back taxi on 3517 to the turnaround point here for runway 17. ATIS is on 124.305, delivery on 118.930, and tower on 18.005. Airport elevation is 227 feet. Looking at our departure here, so this departure is for runway 35. I don't think it's not even an option for 17. So assuming we're taking 35, we're using this departure here, and our transition point is what? Let's look real quick. If we look on here, so Beldu and then Adoro, right? So here's Beldu, so we would be out here to Udrub at or above 3,000. Turn right to 082 degrees out here to PR 614. We need to be at or above 4,000. Turn right again to 100 degrees out here to PR 656 at or above flight level 70, and then out to Beldu at or above flight level 100. Transition altitude 4,000 feet. And that's pretty much the gist of it. We do have some terrain over here we need to concern ourselves with. High point in the area is 4,938 feet. But as long as we're meeting our altitude restrictions, none of that will be an issue. And that, ladies and gentlemen, completes your taxi and takeoff briefing, and in turn completes the before start checklist. Okay, so for some reason known only to the world of AI traffic, they are using runway 17. We're not going to do that. The traffic's minimal. There's an aircraft taxiing out there right now. He should be gone by the time we complete our start. We are going to take runway 35 because that is the only runway that makes any sense right now. The wind is 320 at 2 knots. Granted, it's only 2 knots. We're not taking runway 17. It just doesn't make sense. So let's get our pushback going here. Prepare for pushback and departure. Yes, I want to push back. So we need our nose to go to the right, and we need our tail to go to the left. So just waiting on them now. Remember, everything's automated on here, so it's pretty simple. We're going to start with engine number 1 because that's the way they have it set up. Now, somebody asked in the comments section of one of the videos,
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Don't you normally start with engine number 2? And you do, and if I remember, it either has to do with hydraulics or pneumatics. I don't remember which, but there's a reason you typically start with engine number 2. However, on the 787, the starters, the whole start sequence and everything is electronic. So you don't need to worry about that. What am I looking for here? Did I remove chocks? I did remove chocks. Good. I couldn't remember all of a sudden. Okay, so just waiting on him. Should be ready to go here in a second. Oh, it popped up and then I pushed it away. So we want to go, yes, I want pushback, and I want, okay, I can't do the quick edit because when it goes into slew mode while I'm on ACARS, that's a problem. I have an auto saved, it pushes us back in the wrong direction. So I guess I'm just going to do a straight pushback.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
That's stupid.
Release parking brakes.
When I checked the...
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
When I checked the GSX settings, there was an option to push either way. And now all of a sudden that option's not there. I find that ridiculous. Okay, start with engine number 1. Go all the way up here, click it over to start, come all the way down here, click it to run, and watch it do its magic. Oh, this chair is terrible. I need a new chair. I need a new computer, new chair, new throttles. I'm just a mess, guys. Alright, so it's auto starting right now. Doobie 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 doo. Nothing to do except stare out the window. Wait, some of those aircraft models are terrible, aren't they? Look at that. Like, there's just no attempt to even try and make it look realistic. And then some are alright. I've never seen that Ryanair livery before. So we're going to be going that way. We should be alright. Let me shrink this down over here. See if my map will work. Hey, my map's working. Yay. Okay, so engine 1 is running and stabilizing. We can go ahead and we can start engine number 2. Start. On. And let's take a looky-see. Ooh, that sucker spun up quick, didn't it? Love that sound. Alright, back inside. Let's set the parking brake. Did I see a Ryanair taxiing behind us?
Your confirmation for good engine start.
Yeah, I'll give it to you in a second. Hold on. I did. He's going down there too, isn't he? First of all, he would have slammed his wing into us. Jerkwad. Oh, come on. You guys are killing me with this runway 17 nonsense. Alright. Well, we'll get our taxi checklist and all that stuff done, and then we will take care of changing that, obviously. Or I could just get rid of all the AI traffic. I'll decide. Back inside we go. Let's give them, we're just waiting for that engine to finish stabilizing there. Get rid of that page. Get rid of that page. And just waiting on this one engine. It's taking its sweet time. I'm going to go ahead and tell him we're good. We're good. Just waiting for that to finish. As soon as the running goes away, I can turn off the APU. There it is. Fantastic. Let's jump up top. And the APU can go off now. And we can turn our wing lights on. And we'll wait on the taxi lights for a couple minutes, because otherwise we're going to be shining it right in their face. That's not too nice of us, right? Okay, so APU is good. Engine anti-ice as required. Recall needs to be checked. You can hit either side. Cancel, recall.
Disconnected.
TCAS off, it should be. Flight control check can take place now. So let's hop down here where we can see it nice and clear. Go to systems, flight controls, full left, full right, and neutral all the way up, all the way down, and neutral, and then let's do those rudders. Full left, full right, and neutral. Fantastic. Flight control check is complete. Let's put that on nav display for our first officer there. And what else we got? Radio panel is good.
Ride is clear.
Flight deck door is closed and locked. And now we can take a look at our before taxi checklist. Hopping right back down here, aren't we? I like using this one. It seems to work well. Okay, anti-ice is good. Recall is checked. Auto brake is RTO. Flight controls are checked. Ground equipment is clear. And that takes care of our before taxi procedures. Alright folks, we got everything ready to go here. I've gone ahead and changed our departure. So I'll just show you real quick. It's still the Bellevue departure, but it's 8 Lima now instead of whatever it was before. It was 8 Echo before. So let's get that out of the way. So it's out to Zapim, then a left turn to 082, at or above 3,000, at or above 4,000 at PR 634, at or above 7,000 at 658, and then out to Bellevue. Other than that, everything else remains the same. We did change our runway to runway 17, and so we'll be dealing with the traffic down there. Track hour coming on, a little jump. There it is, brakes coming off. Oh, sorry, I have to adjust my butt in my seat here. And you can see she starts rolling right away. So we'll swing her around here. Get that mouse thing out of there so I stop getting tooltips. So you can see they're all holding short of the runway there because they have to back taxi, turn around, then take off. So this is going to be a minute. I think what we'll do here is I'm going to just taxi out, and I may or may not do it as a time lapse. We'll see. I'll just decide what to do on that, but if you see a time lapse starting here in a couple of seconds, then you know what I decided to do. Otherwise, I will see you when we are actually going to pull out onto the runway and back taxi. Alrighty folks, track car coming back on here. It's finally our turn to pull out on the runway. Boy, that AI traffic is something else, isn't it? It takes forever. Strobe light coming on. Everything else looks good. We did not set our flaps before we pulled out. I don't remember if that's supposed to be on the taxi checklist or not. Let me see here. Auto brake. Oh, I gotta put that up there. Yep, flaps were supposed to be set. So it's flaps 5, right? Yeah, pretty sure it's flaps 5. We'll double check here in a minute. One thing that you can't do is you can't pop the CDUs and stuff up on this one. At least not that I know of. I cleared all the rest of the traffic out for now because they just keep coming and coming and coming. And when you got to do a back taxi like this, you're never going to get on the runway. It's insane. Alright, track car off for just a second. Let's jump down here and let's just I just want to double check. Flaps 5, yeah. I don't know why I couldn't remember that, but anyway, here's the track car coming back on. That was a big jump. Alrighty, so we got our flaps set now. That was my bad. I don't know how I missed that, but it is what it is. We did that, we did that. Oh my goodness, there's so many pages here. It's just absolutely insane. Okay, takeoff, or our before takeoff checklist. So, and it's on there, flaps, right? So I guess I would have figured it out eventually. And so transponder is set to TARA. Weather can come on. You can just click right here to bring the weather on. Let's go ahead and burn that out just a little further. 20 miles out of work. And lights are already on, so we're good there. What else? Don't need that page. Don't need that page. Don't need that page. Okay. It's like 6 pages of stuff I don't need. I really need to narrow this down a little bit. And they took forever to taxi down here, turn around, and then they line up and then just sit there. Oi, and then you see that idiot just sitting there right in front of us? I had to clear the traffic in front of us to get rid of him. He's just sitting there. It's like, oh yeah, I don't care that anybody else is going here. AI is just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. What a joke. Now remember, this thing goes, when you're taxiing, you don't have to give it any thrust. It just goes. So keep that in mind. You're actually going to have to ride the brakes a bit, which I'm sure is not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, certainly in real life you're not riding the brakes, I'm sure, but it is what it is. I'm not really complaining, just noting it because there's a little space to fill here, and I guess I like to hear myself talk. We still got a traffic warning here, but there's no traffic around. How much you want to bet when we get over here we're going to see another aircraft? I turned it off though. The AI should be turned off. But I wouldn't be surprised to see another airplane taxiing down this runway right now. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Should have plenty of runway to work with here. I don't see one, so that's good at least. Alright, we'll get her lined up here. I don't think we need to talk about how we're going to do the takeoff. We know what we're doing here, although there is typically a takeoff briefing, right? I just didn't do it. Now, I am going to try a little jump here for a second. There we go. I'm going to try and use the HUD. Because one of you said, oh, all I got to say is the HUD. Okay, I'm going to try and use the HUD, alright? Let's get a little thrust coming in there. Let it stabilize about 50%. Not that we need any kind of run up. Alright, release the brakes. Thrust ref. Hands on the throttles. And away we go. Alright. Boy, that sucker accelerates fast, doesn't it? Doesn't even show V1 on there.
V1.
Rotate. Up, up, and away. Positive, ready to climb. Gear coming up. Alright. I am not used to that. Okay, we need to come up just a little bit here. I'm not used to the flight path vector. If I'm not mistaken, you just try to keep that circle centered up. Okay, flaps to 1. Just sort of bouncing around on me, isn't it? So far, so good. Not too bad. Flaps coming all the way up. Yeah, see, if you look, the wind is behind us. We really should have taken off in the other direction. Stupid AI. Alright, looking pretty good so far, though. Should be making a turn here shortly. Yeah, so that's cabin announcements. I'm okay with that. I don't need any crew members on the flight deck talking. They're just making things more difficult. Alright, looking pretty good here. I'm just enjoying hand flying the aircraft, to be honest with you. Not a big fan of the HUD. I don't know, I just don't really care for it that much. Just feels awkward to me. And yeah, I don't know. It just bounces around too much. You know, here the flight, the crossbar on the flight director is nice and smooth, right? And I like that. We are climbing like a friggin' rocket ship, you guys. Look at that. That's just crazy. How fast are we climbing here? I know it says it on the HUD, 3,600 feet per minute. Does it say rate of climb? It doesn't say the rate. Oh yeah, it does. 3,500 feet vertical speed. Okay. I mean, it's not terrible. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate it or anything. I'm just not used to it. I'm more comfortable with these instruments here. And I did try to use it for that landing the other night, and it was a no-go, let me tell you. Alright, we're about to cross 10,000 feet here. And we're going to have to roll out of our turn around the same time. So I'm going to get these landing lights off. Come on, off. Thank you. I'm probably supposed to already be rolling out of our turn. No. Well, that's good at least. Alright. Be rolling out here shortly. Let's go ahead and put the autopilot on. Bam, there it is. Tracker coming off. Boom. Little jump there. And let me go back to this view here. We can put this on our vertical situation display now. Fantastic. Take care of our aft takeoff checklist. Gear is up. Flaps are up. Anti-ice to auto. After takeoff checklist complete. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, you guessed it, once again, it is time for some of that obligatory elevator music. Alrighty folks, we're inside 150 nautical miles from our top of descent, and I'm going to cough here. I was literally just talking with somebody and didn't cough once, and now I'm coughing as soon as I come on here. So we do have a little bit of housekeeping to do. First thing we want to do is check our recall and any notes that we have. Nothing pops up on the recall, so we're good to go on that. We do need to take care of reference speeds. We can hop down here. By the way, I did figure out how to do the pop-up for this. You click on this little guy right here where it says lower. Look at that, it pops it up. I was just playing around with it. Same thing for the EFB. So that's kind of handy. But anyway, we've already gone ahead and chosen our arrival and our approach and all of that stuff. I've got it in the FMC. I've got all my waypoints put together, so everything looks good there. We do need our initial reference. We're going to land flaps 30, 143 knots. We've got a pretty short runway actually. Taking a peek over here, it's 9,665 feet. So it's kind of short, not super short though. But that gives us our VREF there. And then auto brakes 1 is not practical on this aircraft. So we are going to be, we're going to be using auto brakes 3 anyway. But just a heads up for you guys, there's really no point in using auto brake 1. Use 2 or 3 for good deceleration, 4 when you want moderate deceleration, and max auto when you need max deceleration rate or landing rollout distance is limited. I don't think we're that limited in our landing rollout space. We're not going to be that heavy, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm going to go with auto brake 4. And I think we'll be good to go on that. Okay, so that takes care of our housekeeping here with one exception. I'm just checking my altitude restrictions over here. At or above 9,000 on that, and then we're coming in on the approach at 3,300. So I'm going to set this to 3,300 for now. I may actually bump it up, but you can see we're all the way up at 42,000 feet too, which I think is awesome being up this high. But I'm going to bring it on down to 3,300 for now. And like I said, I may actually bump that up depending on how things look on the way in. Come on, there we go, 33. And so once we hit that top of descent point, this Boeing aircraft, it'll just start to descend on its own. And so that means what we need to do now is take a look at our arrival and approach briefs. And there it is, Sim Toolkit Pro. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's awesome. I was just talking with my friend Joe about it too, and he's like, I downloaded it and I'm having a hard time figuring out how to use it. So I'm going to get together with him and go over it with him, and I'm going to do a tutorial for you guys, but I want to talk to the developer first and find out if he wants me to wait until the 0.6 release, if he wants me to wait until the 1.0 release or what, or if he wants me to just put one out now. The only downside to putting one out now is there are going to be changes, and when those changes come, then the tutorial's not applicable anymore, and sometimes it can be a pain in the butt to have to redo tutorials over and over. So I'll have to make a decision on that. Alright, looking at our arrival here, we were originally scheduled for a slightly different arrival, but because of the winds, we're going to be taking this guy here. It's the Laban, and I know it's sideways there, but it's the Laban 2Z arrival, 2 Zulu arrival for us, or Z, depending on what part of the world you're from. And we're going to come in over here at Laban, 113 degrees down here to PL612, max 250 knots there, and we want to be at 9,000 feet. So we do need to check our FMC and make sure that that altitude is set in there as well. And then we're going to make a left turn to 084 degrees down to PL611, continuing on to PL610, down to Lanier. Same heading, still down to 605, and then it's a hard left turn to 355 degrees over here to Cree, which is an NDB, and then from there, that's actually where we're going to transition on to the approach. We need to be at or above 4,000 feet when we get there. Now, ATIS is going to be on 129.150, and our airport elevation is 275 feet. Routing, we just went over that, so we don't need to read it down here. Now let's take a look at this approach. We are going to be set up for the ILS runway 27 approach. The Pula radar is on 124.6, or that's their approach, or 127.675. Tower on 32.0 or 20.0. Localizer frequency is 111.5 with a final approach course of 264 degrees. Glide slope intercept at 8.2 nautical miles from the PUL-VOR, 2,800 feet. And let's see, missed approach. Climb straight ahead to PLA-NDB to, that's out here, to 2,300 feet and hold. So it's straight ahead climb till you get to the Pula NDB, and then you're going to hold out there, and it looks like it's a right pattern. So you would actually cross over, turn left. I forget exactly how you do it. It's like a 45-degree turn or something. You hold it for 1 minute, and then you do a right turn inbound. It's called a figure 8. Anyway, so looking here, we're going to come in our initial approach fix out here at Cree. Bang a left turn to 265 degrees down to our initial approach fix, which I don't think shows up in our FMC. That's out here at 15 nautical miles out. But when we get down here, we're going to descend all the way down to 2,800 feet, and that's going to put us 8.2 from PUL. That's FL27. Is it FL or FI? I can't tell. That's an I. FI27. So FI27, that's our intercept point for the ILS approach. PAPI lights on the left-hand side. There's our lighting configuration, and it's going to be just your basic straight-in ILS. So we've got a decision altitude of 505 feet, or if we put it on the radio, it's 230 feet. And that has to do with runway visual range and all that stuff. So C and D, they're the same. I don't know why they've got them separated on there. And that takes care of our arrival and our approach briefings. Let's get those over there. And how far are we from top of descent? We're going to hop down here, take a peeky peek. And 73 miles to go. So I'm not going to make you guys sit here and stare at my screen. Instead, I will sit here and stare at it, and I will see you guys when we are on the approach. Alrighty, folks, as you can see, we're pretty much on our downwind leg here. If you look out, you can see the airfield outside of the window there. And we need to take care of our approach. I think there's a checklist for it, actually. Let me double check. I forgot to do the descent checklist. No surprise there, since I forget all of them. Yeah, the approach. Transition altitude is 10,000 feet, and our altimeters. Let me check my active sky over here. So our altimeter is 1010. So we can get that ready to go. Maybe. You can't hardly see it. It's so hard to see because it's so small, right? So there's 1009. Let's go up 1010. There we go, and that'll set it on all of them, which will be fantastic. And that takes care of our approach checklist. Pretty easy, right? There we go. Click it back to normal. And so the only thing after that is the landing checklist. Now we are waiting for her to get down below 10,000 feet so we can bring on those landing lights and all that. And you can see what we're flying here. So we're on a downwind leg, then it's a base leg, and then a turn to final. So pretty standard stuff there. So not much else for us to do except just kind of hang out. We do a lot of that around here. And I'm just looking at if there's anything I'm missing on my checklists. Doesn't look like it. Although I'm sure I missed something. Somebody already caught something I missed, and you're already typing away on that keyboard. Ah, you forgot to do this, or you did that wrong. That's all right. Go for it. I don't care. Let's see here. Looking at 111.5. Let's see if that's in the nav radio already. That'll give us something to do for a minute. Nav radio 111.5 for the ILS. 264 degrees. I love it. We're going to be, we can actually change this. It's 140, so let's put that in there. 30 degrees, 140 on the speed. And then if we come up here, so there's no course knob on here, right? About the only thing we can do is change this. So 264, we'll set our heading to 264. Bring it on down. One more. There we go. And you can see I've changed the MCP altitude to 2,800 feet. And that should take us pretty much all the way down there. I think I've got the traffic down pretty far too. Let me just double check that. Oh, it's at 0 now. Oh, that's right, I turned it off. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Watch, the frame rates will like drop to nothing. It should be on only like 50% too, so let's let the aircraft do its thing. It'll start making the turn up here. I might even hand fly it when we make the turn to final there. I'm thinking about it just because I want to do some more hand flying. I was talking to my friend Joe about that. Just a little more hand flying. Why not, right? Let's take a look here. Now, are we going to be able to use this thing? I don't know. We'll see. I'm just not a big fan of the HUD, you guys. I mean, the information is great. It's great to have all the information right there at your fingertips. I love it. It's fantastic. But I don't know. I think more than anything it's because it uses the flight path vector, which I'm used to using for when I fly like fighter aircraft in DCS world and stuff, but you know, you see how it keeps flashing and whatnot. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I think I prefer this view right here. Yeah, we're gonna stick with this view right here, just because that's what I want to do. We're just below 10,000 feet. Actually, quite a ways below. Let's get those landing lights on. I'm gonna get hit on ACARs now. Oh, you didn't turn your landing lights on fast enough. Alright, and then we'll make the turn here, and then I'll probably right after we make the turn, I'll just turn the autopilot off. Why not? It'll make it more fun for you guys anyway, right? Alright, we can bring in that first setting of flaps. There it is coming in. Maybe. Let's bring that speed down a little bit more. Let's bring it down to 210. There we go. I like that. We're not heavy now. We've burned off our fuel, so we don't have much left. We're at flaps 1 there. Let's go ahead and arm the spoilers. There we go. Speed brake is armed. I'll just let her make the turn here. It's going to be pretty quick between this turn and the next one, though, isn't it? I think I'll just let it make both turns just so I don't mess things up. I got a habit of doing that sometimes. Now, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to fly. Let's fly. Tracker coming on a little jump. There it is. Autopilot off. There we go. Looking good. Alright. Round the corner we go. I'll leave the auto throttle on, though. Auto throttle is helpful. Let's go ahead and bring that speed down a little more. Bring it down to, let's say, 180. Yeah, 170 works. And we need to turn a little tighter there. There we go. Just follow that flight director. That's all you got to do, really, right? It's easy. Alright, looking good, looking good. Need that speed to come down a little more, though. Alright, we're not going to arm the localizer. We don't need to do that. We're going to hand fly it. We don't need it to be an ILS. Boy, that speed's just not coming down, is it? FMC message. What's it saying? Oh, let's see. Unable to maintain VNAV descent speeds. Oh, we're missing our turn here. There we go. Alright, let's bring in another setting of flaps. That'll help slow us down a little bit too.
Ladies and gentlemen, in preparation for landing, please return all seat backs and tray tables.
Alrighty. We're going to see if Captain Mac can hand fly this 787 all the way to the ground without crashing. Another setting of flaps.
Must be returned to their original position.
Flaps 10 green. We are well underneath our glide slope right now. But we'll be leveling off here shortly anyway. Alright, not too shabby. Trim it up just a little bit. One more setting of flaps, put them at 15, and then next setting will drop the gear. Looking pretty good so far. So glide slope intercepts at 2,800 feet. Speed's looking good. Looks to me like we're a little to the right, but I'll follow what it says for now. There's not much else to say. We're just flying the airplane. Trying not to bore you guys too much. We need to get down just a little bit more. I don't want her to climb yet. I want to intercept that glide slope. You can see the diamond moving a little bit now. If I pop this up, so there you go. So I think it's easier to fly with the flight director than it is with the flight path vector, right? That's what it boils down to. But for some of you, it might be easier to fly with the flight path vector. So this is the flight path vector here, right? And then the flight director is the cross down here. I think the flight director is a little easier, personally. But the idea with the flight path vector is to just keep that circle centered up in your little guy right here, right? So see the little circle there? You're just trying to keep it centered up. That's all you're doing with that. Alright, so we're doing good. Kind of holding altitude here. That's what we want to do. Getting ready to intercept the glide slope. And you can see the diamond on here. She's moving. Oh, look, Captain Max got it pretty steady there, doesn't he? Yeah, buddy. Oh, now she's all over the place. There we go. We're looking good. Like I said, I just think it's easier to use the flight director than the flight path vector. That's just my opinion. Alrighty, looking good though. Once we intercept the glide slope, we'll finish off our flaps and gear. Almost there. I don't know, to me it just, having the HUD there makes it harder to see. I mean, it does have the advantage of, you know, your head is up, right? So you got all the information right in front of you. You don't have to keep looking down or anything like that. So that's an advantage. I had to look over at my keypad. So this would be where I'd have it at, typically. So that's all you're doing, just keeping that flight path vector centered. That big movement was from me hitting the trim switch. So it wants me to intercept that glide slope now, see? That's what it's trying to get me to do. That's why it's got us coming up like this. See that? It's going to have us keep coming up like that until we intercept that glide slope. Because I don't know why it had us go as low as it did, to be honest with you. Glide slope, we should have intercepted already. Okay. Turning, let's bring the speed down. 145.
2500.
Gear down. This thing's going away. See, it took us too high. See that? Look how high we are now. Next setting of flaps coming in. I don't like that at all.
Flight attendant, please be seated for right.
We're way too high right now. We'll get her down there though. What are we looking at on flaps? Coming in at flaps 18 green. That should put us at 20. We'll be on that glide slope in no time. You can see it moving up already. Flaps 25 there. Still on the auto throttles, that's fine. There we go. And flaps 30. Landing checklist. Speed brake is armed. Landing gear is down. Flaps are set to 30. Landing checklist complete. We are still way too high. Passengers are throwing up in the back. They do that a lot on these flights, don't they? If you look down here, you can see our diamonds coming up. We're just about to intercept the glide slope. You'll see that there's one red light, one more coming up right about now. Not quite. There it is. That's glide slope right there. See, it wants us to be a little under the glide slope. At least the Pappy does. There's the other red light there. There we go. Alright. In we go. I'm having fun either way. What the heck was that?
400. 300. Approaching minimums.
Looking good, guys. Looking good.
200.
Oh, a little choppy. Hate that. Got a little high. That's right. Bring her down. There we go.
100.
Should be 50 as we cross the threshold.
50.
There we go.
20, 30. 20. 10.
I can't believe how much that floated. Alright, auto brakes kicking in. Reverse thrust. There's 60 knots there. Let's take her to the end of the runway. I can't believe how much that floated, to be honest with you.
We will be taxiing.
Those auto brakes off yet? Yeah, they are. Okay. Looks like we'll have to turn around at the end of the runway, if there's even a turnaround spot.
At that time, please remember to check.
I'm curious what the landing rate was. I mean, I barely flared it. And she just floated on us big time. It just sort of held that altitude for like 1,000 feet of runway. That was ridiculous. That wasn't too bad for a manual approach though, right guys? Okay, we got to leave those lights on for now. Let's go ahead and look all the way up here and turn the APU on. There we go, we got that coming on. So Sim Toolkit Pro says minus 17 feet per minute. Oh, there's a exit down here. I don't know if I buy that minus 17 feet per minute. Let's see what ACAR says. ACAR says my landing rate was minus 26.14. So that was butter. I mean, it just settled on there and just sort of scraped the wheels across the ground. You gotta admit, that's a thing of beauty, guys. Alright, we're about to pull off the runway. Let's go ahead and get these lights off real quick. Come on, come on. There we go. And strobe light can come off as well. Technically, we're supposed to leave it on until we clear the runway, but I turned it off already. You know, I do what I want. Alright, let's get around the corner here. We'll bring her to a nice gentle stop, and we'll take care of our after landing procedures, which we've done most of them already anyway. Alright, slide her up around the corner. Remember that tail's pretty long, so there we go. Come on, nice easy stop now. Okay, I almost took the auto throttles off too, but I decided to leave them on. Okay, track hour coming off, little jump. There it is. Make sure I'm on the right page here. And speed brake needs to be down, which it is not. Speed brake down. Flaps need to come all the way up. Come on, flaps, all the way up. There we go. Flaps are up. Transponder needs to go to standby. All the way over there. Anti-ice is good, lights are good, weather radar can go off. There we go. And that takes care of our after landing checklist. So I'm going to go ahead and taxi this bird on in. And when we get to a parking spot, I'll come back on here and we'll have a little chat about shutting her down. How's that sound? Alright folks, once again GSX has given us the old shaftaroonie, so we're just going to park it because according to GSX there is no parking space here large enough for our aeroplane. Bypass it there, swing her back around nice and slow. There we go, looking good. So we're just going to steal a parking space and call it good. That's the downside, especially with default airports. A lot of times GSX just says they are no good. That was a terrible parking job, I think. Let's look outside real quick. That wasn't that bad, actually. Not too shabby. We'll pull her up a little further, though, because otherwise our tail's hanging out in the taxiway there. Like a glove. Let me get to the right view here. Track hour coming off, little jump. There it is. Let's get that parking brake on so we don't roll forward any further. There we go. Parking brake is on. And let's see, that APU should be up and running by now, right? APU is good to go. Actually, we need to check our status page for that, don't we? Come down here, click on Systems. There we go. APU is up and running. Fantastic. Parking brake is set. Fuel cutoff switches can go in the off position now. 1 and 2. And the engines are now shutting down. Seatbelt signs can come off. That's way up top here. We're going to have to just jump back up here to do it. Seatbelt signs off. Now, what we could do is we could customize the position for GSX If you go, if you guys haven't done this before, if you go to your add-ons, go GSX, customize airport positions, you get this little guy here. But as far as it's concerned, we're not even in a parking space. So it doesn't make any difference anyway. Never mind. Hydraulic pumps can all go off. So right demand, left demand, C1, C2, left engine, right engine, all off. Fantastic. IRS selectors go off as well. Flight deck door power can go off. That's up top here. There we go. Fuel pumps can all come off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Engine anti-ice is fine. Beacon can go off. Flight director's off. That's down here. So flight director 1 and flight director 2 both off. Transponder's already on standby. External power is required, so we can shift in 2. We can put wheel chocks on. Put the external power on. You'll see that it is now available when I jump up here. Go to external power. We can turn the APU off now. Bam, there it is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our parking procedure. If we jump over here to our checklist, and we're already good on landing. Shutdown checklist, parking brake is set. And normal. Come on, that's it. That's the last checklist. So, ladies and gentlemen, well, there is the secure checklist, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it here for a turnaround. And that means that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed the flight very much. I hope you did as well. Let's turn our ACARS off here so you can see. There it is, minus 26.14. Smooth as silk. File the PIREP. Bam, sis. Listen, if you haven't checked out Millennium Aviation Company or Mac Air, come give us a look. It's fantastic. We've got several divisions. You fly all from one profile. You can fly what you want, when you want, where you want. You can fly something structured. You can fly the old stuff. You can fly the new stuff. But we got it all over here at Mac Air. So come and check us out. It's worth it. Trust me. All right. I don't think there's anything else to do on this one, folks. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed the flight. If you haven't already done so, please take the opportunity to smash the subscribe button. We're trying to get up to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and that would just be plain old hunky-dory. I'd look forward to that. Also, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. You guys have been asking for this 787 tour, so I'm assuming with 8,000 subscribers, I should be getting somewhere in the neighborhood of, oh, I don't know, 8,000 thumbs up on the video. That'd be fantastic. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, you guys are awesome. That's it. That's all, no more. So, until next time, as always, keep the blue side up, unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all. I love you guys. You're fantastic, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.